Welcome to the party. It's your boy Malatent. I'm here to go over the Path of Exile 3.13 Echoes expansion, which is going to have the Ritual League built into it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to look at a little bit of the just to get our feet wet and see how it actually is. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start a little bit so you can hear the video.
Beware what you ask, nomad. Curiosity is a charming trait until it is not. Information will be volunteered, not coerced. It will create more questions than it answers. When at last their shadow is cast upon the firmament, it will take more than you can possess to bind and silence the screams within your mind.
So with the Ritual League, some of the things that I liked about what I like about the Ritual League, from what it seems like you will be able to have these ritual shrines that you actually have to interact throughout a zone. You might have, it looked like there was 3 of them on some of the screenshots that they show inside of the Ritual League. So you got those 3 times you can interact with the ritual of the shrines. Every time you beat the shrine, it gives you points, and you take those points and you're able to buy certain items at the end. So you can go in, click the shrine, and there's like items. Oh, I got 2,500 points. I can buy X. So that's one good thing. They also thought about, hey, sometimes people aren't going to be able to kill as many things as other people. So what I mean by that is some people might only be able to destroy 2 of the altars, but they need 3 altars to actually get an item that might pop up in there. So they thought about that, and they got this deferred situation where you can actually defer the purchase, and on the next zone, in the next shrine you get in the next zone, you have a possibility of getting that item, and the price is going to be lower for that particular item when you defer it. Okay, so that's to me sounds like they were thinking about individual people that aren't necessarily really good at gearing themselves up and having issues with getting really impressive gear to be able to handle the really impressive gear to be able to do 3 of the rituals in one zone, or 4 rituals in one zone. I don't know what the maximum is. They didn't say a maximum. They said you can interact with multiple rituals inside of a zone. So that was one of the things that I saw that was kind of interesting about it. They also, with the Ritual League, have chosen ways that you can actually take the mobs from a zone. So let's just say I have some really cool, like some really high mobs that inside of a ritual zone. You can get a vessel, and that vessel you can use. You can store the mob that was on that shrine. You can store that mob in that vessel, and you can use that on maps later on. So let's just say I got a map, or going up, I'll pick up something, and then I have this type of mob that I like to kill, and I can use it on a map, and you can get a lot more that way. So that actually is kind of an interesting part of the league, I believe, that you're going to be able to, if I'm going through a particular instance and I got a vessel on me, or you carry vessels, just if you get them, carry them, and you find mobs that you actually like, or mobs that you like to fight, you can sit there and you be like, okay, well, I like these mobs, and they usually can drop this or do these things for me later on. You can just use them later on in mapping or whatever. When you're juicing up a map, just throw that in there in place of a scarab or whatever, and the rituals inside that zone will be using that mob. So that's actually something that sounded like it was pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty good. A couple of things that they did was they're redoing the Atlas. And because they're redoing the Atlas, that means everything's changing again. Okay, so the first change is to the Atlas that they're having is that there will be a new boss called Maven. And so what you do, and it sounds like in this thing, is you're going to have to run Maven. And it sounds really pretty cool, but it actually is for those individuals that are really pretty probably going to be pretty good at the game, gearing themselves up really well, etc. Because it takes the mob bosses that you have beaten, and you go into her zone and you say, hey, I want to fight them. And then you'll do it for one as, like, let's say 2 bosses. The next one's 4, next one's 6, next one's 10. And they just keep ramping up until you have 10 bosses that you have to fight in that zone and beat. And then you can possibly fight Maven. And that's a possibility. That's not a guarantee. It's possibly fight Maven. You can also possibly get a Maven orb. You can possibly get some other things that they had said that you can get. Another thing so that actually is a pretty interesting thing. They said it's going to take approximately, and you have to do those Maven. You have to do that Maven quest configuration on that Maven things to actually get ascendancy points for what's coming on the screen right now. There's a passive skill tree for the Atlas. So you can go in and you have to do the Maven thing to unlock passive trees points or let's say Atlas points, and you use those Atlas points to increase or change the configuration for your Atlas. You can increase and maybe get better beyond. You can get better things from like strong boxes. You can get better Legion, better Harvest. There's all the different mechanics. I believe all the different mechanics that they have in the game. You are able to in certain zones. So that's a really interesting thing. You might actually have some kind of overlap. Is what I'm thinking. There might be some overlap in some of this, because I don't believe that they're going to have the different be able to have they're not going to put the extra beyond things are only going to be in Glencarrion, and the just like this the touch stuff for Tormented Spirits is only going to be in Lex Proxima. I don't think that that's going to happen. What I think is going to happen is that they have certain wheel configurations for certain areas. So Beyond might be in Glencairn. It might also be in New Vaster, or it might be inside of the Hamlet one. So and you have that particular tree in those in those multiple different areas. Don't know. We will have to see when we get there. But I don't think that we have enough game mechanics to be able to have 10 passive points, 10 Atlas points in every zone. I just don't think that that's happening. They also have introduced watchstones that can be crafted. So you're able to take a watchstone, get certain things on the watchstone. You have your normal watchstones. You have the watchstones that you get from the Conquerors and Cirrus in them, where it can be used like 3 or 4 times and then it's gone, or 3 times and it's gone. And then now you have these craftable ones, so you can craft it and set them up for certain things. Like one of the ones I saw was an increased chance of getting maximum socketed items, maximum things on the out of items. Where is it? It might be there. Nope. That one's for maps and stuff like that. There's another one that they showed, which kind of showed me additional. There you go. 0.1 chance to have maximum number of sockets on an item that drop. Okay. So let's just think about that. If you put 4 of those, so you can have 0.4%, and if that was the maximum of it, I don't know. It might be higher or not. But let's just say we have 4%, 0.4%. Let's just say 0.5%. Man, let's just say that was a low roll, and you can get 1%. You can get 1%, plus you put it on that Tormented Spirit, not Tormented Spirit, the Strong Box one, where you can get corrupted things out of strong boxes. That becomes huge, because you guaranteed 6-slot corrupted items on a more frequent basis. Yeah, you might be able to make a little money off that. Not guaranteed, but hey, that's a possibility. You could also use it for other things and possibly get 6-socketed items that you can convert and use and stuff like that. It just depends. You can also do different things to try to make it better. Make your zones better. I don't know what the mods are. Depending on the mods, you might be able to get a really juiced up map pretty quickly, and pretty easily. Last but not least, they're making Harvest Core. They're making Heist Core, of course. They did Ascendancy revamps. Now I'm going to do the Ascendancy revamps separately than this video, where I'm going to try to go over every Ascendancy and see exactly what they did to the Ascendancy and tell you the things that pop up into my mind out of the Ascendancy when I see that Ascendancy. It's like, hey, well, I could try this. Or, hey, this might be cool. So I'm going to try to do that for every Ascendancy because they revamped every Ascendancy from what they said. They heavily reworked a few. Now, Harvest went core. The main thing about Harvest is the gardens are set gardens. You just go in, you look and see what mods that you possibly can get out of it, and you harvest that garden. That's actually pretty good, but at the same time, we don't know what mods that they're going to be able to do, what things that you're not going to be, what things are going to be in it and out of it. So that actually is going to be most of the things that I can think of. There's also a new orb in the game called Maven Orb. So if you have a item that has influence, you can remove an influence and it will put 2 influence mods. You have to have 2 influence mods. If you get those 2 influence mods, you can always take one out, make one and make it stronger. So they did a intelligence, and then there was like another one where you take less damage or something like that, and they converted it so that mod became the intelligence mod plus you get a +1 level to intelligence gems. So there was all these different things that they did, which is kind of interesting. So I hope this helps you out. This is just a quick revamp of what I thought, my first impressions of the Path of Exile 3.13 Echoes expansion. I'm not terribly happy about it because I think that it's going to be more. A lot of people like to chase items, chase things, etc., etc. That's fine. I just don't know exactly if it's going to be for individuals that don't play as often, if they will be able to deal with getting all the things that need to be done, all the different things to be able to get to the end game, do the end game, and complete most of the end game. That's my only concern, is because they added in a lot of extra complexity, and that extra complexity sometimes is good, sometimes it's not. For me, I just think that extra complexity is going to make it a little bit harder on the casual type gamers, which is, I consider myself a casual type gamer. I don't consider myself big, like hardcore. I consider myself a casual gamer. I'm barely in the casual side, but I'm in the casual gamer. So that's the thing that we have to look at. And that's the thing I have to look at and check and verify with the things that are coming out is the game, because currently the game seems like it's going more and more not necessarily casual gamer friendly, but catering more toward the end game and the 10% or let's say 10% gamers. So that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying that for casual gamers, it does kind of push the casual gamers away sometimes. I'll figure it out when I get to it. I hope that I'll see you in game. I hope this helps you in your quest for ultimate power. Talk to y'all later. Peace out.